Let's start our live shoot together. The idea here is to put together a lot of these basic concepts and execute them as a team. Translate directly into these two scenes we're about to shoot, as well as some coverage principles. The idea behind coverage is to shoot a scene in a way that gives you outs, meaning not only are you shooting it effectively to make it more engaging by going from wide to medium to tight. So on the wide, you're establishing a scene, you're establishing a geography so your audience knows where they are in space. On the medium, you're selecting a hero, you're narrowing your focus onto a particular individual. And then you're going to a tight so you can connect to their emotions by seeing their eyes more clearly. And generally speaking, you have less motion, given that you have a longer lens, and also because you have less motion, people are able to focus more on the character. It all kind of interweaves wonderfully. The other point of coverage is that we all have a plan on how we're going to cut a scene. But things, as you know, don't always go according to plan. Focus gets buzzed, actors flub lines, booms come in frame, any multitude of things happen. And the idea behind coverage is if you shoot a scene 3 times in a row at least, and then a reverse, you'll always have enough material to cover up your mistakes. So it serves a multitude of purposes all within one. We're going to shoot 2 scenes today, both from Schindler's List, because it's economical in terms of using the same frame and characters twice. And we're going to explain to you the things we're going to cover during that shoot. As you can see, we're traveling around the country with this set, and an actor as part of our crew, Ross, as well as a guest actor, in this case, Barry, to help us execute it. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my process in terms of prepping for a scene. There's several tools that I have at my disposal as a director. I can storyboard a scene. In other words, I translate some words or ideas onto page by drawing with a combination of some words that help me keep track of what my plan is initially. I can, of course, diagram shots from overhead, look at the geography, and make some diagrams. I'll show that to you during this process. And what a first AD would do, and some directors, is also a shot list or a shooting schedule. 2 different things, actually. But a shot list is purely a written list of shots that you need to get that you can check off as you go. Makes sense. No matter how harried the set is, no matter how crazy things go, you know that you've gotten this shot, this shot, this shot. I prefer to work off storyboards because I can visually see which shots I can eliminate and skip them around visually in my mind. It's the way I work. But when I'm very under deadline, I don't have time to draw. I will do simple shot lists. And then, of course, you'll see as well a shooting schedule, which is something that a first AD would do. He would actually take your scene and break it down even more. And then we would go ahead and execute our scene, this time with a plan. That's the key. Most of the director's job is done before they ever set foot on set. The reason that Scorsese looks like he's not doing much of anything in the set, just sits down and watches a monitor with earphones on, you say, I could do that. Well, the truth is, a director has done her or his job well before they ever set a foot on set. 90% of what you do should be done off the set. If you haven't done that part, you have not done your job as far as I'm concerned as a director. Fair enough? We're going to follow certain sets of rules as well in terms of how we get things going on set. The first step is always to block the actors out first. Many newer directors block their cameras out and then force their actors to work within that scene and those cameras' moves. And guess what? The action feels totally unnatural. So always block out the actors and then base off of that. I have a specific plan that I have as a director every single time with diagram, shot list, you name it. I cut it in my head before I ever set foot on set. That being said, I like to do what I call planning on being spontaneous, which is kind of an oxymoron and self-canceling. The idea is if I have a clear plan of what I'm going to do, when I arrive on set, I'm going to open the door for my actors to surprise me. I'm going to say, what do you guys think of the scene? How do you interpret it? And see if they come up with a more original or better idea. If they don't, I have a plan to fall back on. Make sense? Versus coming up unprepared and hoping the actor has a moment of inspiration and hoping that your coverage will work on the fly. That is not directing. Because once you've blocked out the actors, you can then go ahead and block the cameras around that action. It's a very fluid and logical way of doing things. Always plan on rehearsing with your actors, find the beats, the cues, and coordinate everything together. Let's everyone do so in a relaxed way, and of course you hold your breath and you execute the scene together as a group. The actors know what they're doing. The crew knows what they're doing. You're watching the monitor. You're not watching the set because you don't care what you see on set. If you don't capture it on screen, it never happened. So that's why your eyes are glued to the monitor. And as you're watching, what are you doing as a director? You are A, watching the actors, obviously, to give them notes on their performance, on their timing, on their delivery. You are also watching your crew, or your DP is as well, to make sure that the camera moves make sense, that they're working, that the timing's right. So at the end of each take, you should go back and give feedback to your camera team and to your actors. It's very methodical. You don't want to be watching the monitor, and at the end, everyone turns around, looks at you for feedback. You're like, look good to me. You know, they're looking to you for some feedback. All right, this is the first thing we're going to shoot together. This is a scene from Schindler's List. It's very basic. It really is a wide master with a slight pan. It's 2 mediums and 1 close-up. Watch this coverage.
Yeah, the signatures I need. That's the easy part. Finding the money to buy the company. That's all.
You don't have any money.
Not that kind of money. You know anybody? Jews, yeah. Investors. You must have contacts in the Jewish business community working here.
What community? Jews can no longer own businesses. That's why this one's in receivership.
But they wouldn't own it. I'd own it. I'd pay them back in product, pots and pans.
Pots and pans.
Something they can use. Something they can feel on their hands. They can trade it on the black market. Do whatever they want. Everybody's happy.
Here's our medium. What comes next?
If you want, you could run the company for
The
me.
reverse. Exact same shot, exact same lens, exact same distance, same matching eye lines.
Let me understand. They put up all the money. I do all the work. What, if you don't mind my asking, what you do?
He leans forward,
Make sure it's known the company's in business.
sits up and leans
That
forward.
had a certain panache.
Same shot, small correction based on his body movement. Same take.
Presentation.
Over his shoulder, the hand is in frame, and then cut back to a close-up. That's it. Cut back to the medium shot from before, and then back to the close-up at the end. Very simple. Let's go ahead and look at how this would be storyboarded if you were doing such a thing. Storyboards are a very easy and quick way to just put your ideas down on paper and to basically cut the scene prior to ever shooting it. So you'll see if you look really carefully on this shot, there's a slight pan right as he sits down. You start off a little more centered. That's the only movement within the wide master. It's very simple. He sits down. We then go to 12 alpha. Every scene or shot list goes from 12 to 12A to 12B to 12C, D, E, and F, G. That's how you do it. 101, 101A, 101B, etc., and so on. Then there's the reverse, 12 Bravo. Same medium close-up, same relative distance, same relative size and frame. Ideally, the exact same lens, so you don't have anything that moves around too much or looks distracting. Back to the same medium. Slightly shifted to the left because he leaned forward, right? So we just pan the camera a little bit left within the move. Pay attention because one of you is going to be doing this with us. 12 Bravo, back. Just make sure you have the hand in the foreground, right, on the reverse. And then back to a close-up shot, 12 Charlie, of Oskar Schindler, Liam Neeson, back to 12 Bravo, and finishes on 12 Charlie again. So you'd make some quick little notes, locked off, fluid head on dolly, and that would be your basic storyboard. This is what a shooting schedule looks like. This is something a first AD would do. And he would know, of course, you've got your wide master on top. These shots, these 3 are all just one long take cut in between, right? Just one shot. Those are another take, same exact medium shot. And then we cut to the close-up down here in 12 Charlie. So now you see you've effectively got 3 or 4 setups, depending on how you count the last one with the zoom lens. Just a little quick snap in. But you put your schedule down. Understand that when you shoot something, if you go from 110 to 120, every minute past 1:20 p.m., you're stealing from the back end. So whenever you start going over on your timing, you're cheating your future shots from time. You can't assume that you're just going to keep going. 12 hours or 8 hours or 10-hour days are just that. You can never plan on saying, yeah, we'll go into overtime. If you're on a TV episodic, no matter what director you are, when you're given 12 hours, it means 12 hours, not 12 hours and 1 minute. They're very strict on it, and you will not get hired again if you go over. So what we do as directors, we manage the shooting schedule, we manage the story, we also manage our time and resources. And our first ADs will help us do that, our first assistant directors. But being on time is critical. And you'll see we've got the characters there, we've got the requirements. You notice that I put Stern before Schindler. Anyone know why? Why would an AD do that? Why shoot this character in 12 Bravo before 12 Alpha? Correct. This is the only scene, these two, where you need both actors. You can see Oskar Schindler's hand and him in the foreground. So you must have both of them. If you happen to go over time or there's a problem with the camera or God knows what happens, you can always release one of your two actors and shoot the final shot together. Not to mention the final shot has two, a medium and a tight. And if for whatever reason you run out of time and you don't have the tight, you can still cut it. It won't be as sexy. Whereas if you made the mistake of shooting 12 Alpha and 12 Charlie first, you run out of time, you don't have your reverse. You can't edit it. Make sense? So set yourself up for success so that you don't have unpredictable or unexpected failures. All within the scheduling. That's how a shooting schedule would look. This is what a diagram looks like. It's just an overhead view. Just draw the basic set, draw the two actors. The path here is very simple. Put a camera here, does a slight pan in the beginning, our actor walks in and sits down. That's it. Then we bring in the camera off to the side for 12 Bravo, and then 12 Alpha and Charlie. Here we go. Let's do our first shot together. I'm going to have someone volunteer to go and man the camera. Who wants to do that? All right, you can come. I was trying to see, again, if I can diversify this a little bit. Not having a bunch of guys up here all the time. In the back, any interest? Yeah, come on up. You want a first AC? Is that cool? Cool. And the shot we're going to do is our first shot. We also need a second AC. Come on up, sir. And we need a dolly grip. Anyone? Bueller? Come on up, sir. Okay. We're not going to have a boom operator this time because we don't need him. We are actually recording live, so we should be in good shape. This is the shot we're going to perform together. All right, let's walk over to the set. You will notice that our DP is going to go ahead and take a seat, already has found his seat. Our first AC is going to work with us. What's the first step of this process?